This is a Women with Disabilities Victoria podcast. We acknowledge that these podcasts were recorded on the traditional lands of the First Nations people of this country. We acknowledge their elders, past, present and emerging. We acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded and this is and always will be Aboriginal land. From the Outskirts is a series of podcasts featuring women with disabilities who live and work in regional Victoria. I'm Liz Wright, a disability activist and advocate. I'm also the Manager of Community Inclusion and Women's Empowerment at Women with Disabilities Victoria. All the interviews were recorded in each person's home or workplace, so from time to time there is unexpected background noise. Bree-Arne Manley is a musician, rock climber and mum. She's a self-proclaimed Aussie MS Warrior and lives a fierce and fascinating life. Please be aware that there is some swearing in this episode.
Hi, I'm Bree-Arne Manley and we're talking from the Wathaurong country.
Oh, well, it's so great to meet you. I went down a rabbit hole of watching your YouTubes and a lot of them made me laugh out loud. How's it all going? Like, you're living here. How long have you lived here?
I've lived here for a good 13 years now, I think, since being together with Lachlan.
Where did you come from?
Clifton Springs, 10 minutes away.
Yeah, okay. So would you know Sarah Carroll?
Yes.
And Chris Wilson, yes, before he died? Yeah. Okay, so I just thought, I imagine this is kind of a tight music scene around here.
It is. Actually, that photo up there was taken by Chris Wilson.
Oh, really?
Yes, he felt sorry for me when I was busking outside the supermarket in a competition and he came and put a blanket on me, made me look like a hobo.
You'll have to describe what else is it. What's on the photo?
It's me busking outside the supermarket. So there's a bunch of shopping trolleys behind me and I'm all rugged up in my reggae beanie and I've got my hood up and he's got a checkered blanket, orange, dirty-looking dog blanket-looking thing on across my lap. They probably didn't have a dog. It didn't smell like dog.
No.
So,
okay. So you've been playing music for a long time?
I have, yeah.
Since a child?
My mum used to teach guitar and piano, and one day she heard me tinkering on the piano of something that she just taught one of her students. I was 3.
So you had a natural affinity towards music and stuff anyway. So you've played for many, many years? Yeah,
I'm 37 now and the only thing about 6 or 7 years ago, after Daniel, my second son, was born, my hands started getting really weak and after my first son, Jaden, was born, I couldn't feel them at all. But they came back. I just did a lot of practice and now it's a real struggle to get my strumming hand going.
So did you have MS before you had both your children?
I did.
So was there a lot of talk around you about should you or shouldn't you have a child?
Actually, no. I was quite independent and I was going to be the boss of that. So
yeah, great.
I deliberately took myself off my medication like a couple of years in after being diagnosed because I knew that I wanted a family. I didn't want anything to sabotage that for me. So I thought my body is my temple and I just did all the natural stuff and, I probably should have come off sugar a little bit earlier, but I
can't contribute to the coming off sugar conversation bit because, I've had a bit of sugar lately. And
well, I was just in the supermarket and I was really jealous. I love eating marshmallows and stuff like that. Real naturally sweet tooth, I think.
So sugar helps, not having sugar, sorry.
Yeah, well, sugar's an inflammatory, so it would help everyone to come off it, really. But it's doing things like that I just want to contribute to my being healthy and trying to get the best out of my body as I can.
you're really fit and well known for being a rock climber, and people think it's like an amazing feat that you can do that. But I think it's great and I think it's amazing, but I also know it's hard work. It's not like the clouds opened and someone's elevated you up there. You work hard at doing that sort of stuff because you enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like getting to the top of a rock climbing wall and just going, hey, I did it. And I did it from my wheelchair. I got out of it and climbed up a wall.
Did you do rock climbing before you had MS?
Every now and then. It was something I always wanted to get into, but I didn't have the right crowd around me to do it like I'm doing it now.
Yeah. The kids like rock climbing too?
They do. It's a treat for them to come and they do some climbing, but that they get to play on the phone for a little bit while Mummy's doing her wall.
Yeah.
And I take a little bit longer than what they do, so...
Oh, they've got a bit of time to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they get their, like, caramello and their big jumbo snake.
Do you go to the same place regularly?
Yes.
So have people stopped staring?
Well,
and by that, I don't necessarily mean maliciously. I mean curiously.
Yeah, curious. Well, I don't think I notice it as much.
Yeah.
Because for starters, I can't see that far away.
Yeah.
And every now and then I might hear someone go, wow, she's so strong, or look at her do that, or I didn't know you could do that from a wheelchair.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good. With your music, we're sitting in a room that's full of gear. Are you playing regularly? Or irregularly because of COVID?
No, I'm trying to play more often because I really want my hands back, and I couldn't pick up my guitar for a few years because I was too scared I wasn't going to be able to play it the way that I used to. And I spend hours and hours perfecting my craft and writing songs, and it was devastating to not be able to play them as well anymore. But I can still play them. I'm still making music. I'm writing an album at the moment.
Yeah. Do you record at home?
Yeah, this is a recording studio, which explains all the recording equipment.
I can see all of that, but I just wasn't sure if, like, when you're going to do an album, are you going to branch out into a bigger space with other people, or are you going to do a solo acoustic?
No, well, actually, the great thing about branching out with other people is they can always record it in their own studio and then bring the tracks back here.
Yeah.
Then I can add it to mine. And I have someone who helps me with production because I can't see very well, and she helps me blend it all in.
So with the not seeing so well, is that a thing from MS?
Yes.
So everybody I have interviewed with MS, everything is different.
Yeah.
So I was with a friend and woman yesterday, and she was talking how she used to play the tin whistle, play the harmonica, and she really, really, really misses it. But her eyesight's okay at this stage, but her hands are deteriorating quite quickly. She's a lot older than you.
Yeah.
So your eyesight's affected, and how is that? Is that the...
Well...
Isn't it the optic... What's it called?
Optic neuritis.
Yes.
Optic nerve. I've just been to the optometrist recently who's just checked my nerves with a special machine, and he has said because I've had so much deterioration in there, it is like looking through the eyes of an 85-year-old at 37. So I'm just happy I can still see my photos.
So how does that manifest? And my curiosity is, as someone, I have Stargardt, so that manifests in a certain way. So does it mean reduced length of vision, like you can't see the kids down the road, or is it about writing or?
Okay, I can see that there is a person there. I can see a lot of the detail. I can see your scarf is the same colour as my pants.
Yeah.
But there might be a patch missing every now and then.
That's very much like Stargardt's.
Yeah.
Which is like macular degeneration.
Well, I definitely wouldn't be able to read writing from me to you away. So that's about 1.5 meters.
Yeah.
But
we're kindred spirits here.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly the same sort of manifestation, yeah.
Yeah. It's just I can see the larger details, but some of the finer ones are missing.
Yeah.
So every now and then if I'm out and Lachlan's like meeting me somewhere and I'll see someone walking past who's got a similar shape, like I never go to grab them or say something to them that I would normally say to my husband, because every now and then it turns out it's not him.
I know. It's kind of funny. I've got a younger sister who doesn't have anything wrong with her eyesight. One of her favourite tricks is meeting me somewhere and walking straight past to see if I'll ever pick her out. And I often do, because it's the familiarisation, as you were saying, of their shape or their... You know that they're wearing their hat that they always wear, or, you know, their gait, you know, the way they walk. But
their hooded jumper.
Yeah, exactly, that sort of stuff. Some people think it's mean, but I always think it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, it just drives me nuts, because when we're at school, they've all got school uniforms exactly the same on. I nearly reached out to grab a kid yesterday. I was like, you're not Daniel.
Yeah, you're not
my
mine.
son.
Yeah.
No, move along. You're not mine.
Tell me about the school thing. I hated primary school when my daughter was there. I found it very difficult with the eyesight thing, because people think if you don't have a cane or a dog, or even though you're a wheelchair user, people still don't identify themselves as they walk up to you often. And I'd be like, I don't know who you are. Like,
no,
hi, as you walk past, whatever.
I've got the best way of dealing with that. Everyone comes as, mate, how you going? Just, how you going, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Because I can't see.
Good, very good response.
And then after they've left, I say, Lachlan, who was that?
Yeah.
And quite often he'll go, I have no idea.
So are both your boys at school?
They are now, yeah.
So is the littlest, how old's the youngest?
6. He's just had a birthday, so I had to think about that for a second.
When's your next gig?
I haven't
Nothing planned.
I haven't planned anything. I'm really trying to finish this album off.
Yeah. And
I had a to-do list at the start of the year.
Yeah.
With all these crazy things on there. And the stupider they are that Lachlan says they are, then the more I want to do them. So I've ticked them most off my list, but I've got to climb the Yangs.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I think I'm going to have to take that one and then just climb the stairs at the end.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you're a braver woman than me. Before we started this recording, we talked about how you've just joined a committee recently, an Access and Inclusion Committee. What do you hope to achieve from being involved in that committee?
I really want to be someone that they could use for information and experience to say, well, this isn't accessible, this isn't very good. We can see you as you still get around all right and are really fit, and they will look at us differently, not just someone to be swept under the rug. For example, I tried to climb the lighthouse up here a few years ago.
Yeah.
The poor guy didn't know what to do with me. He saw me get out of my chair and walk over to the stairs and said, "Oh, look, sorry, I'm going to have to say no." And I thought...
So he said no to you?
Yes. He goes, "I'll feel really bad, but I'll give you some vouchers to the Queenscliff Boat Museum."
Oh, the marina, marine thing.
Marina.
Yeah.
And I went, "I'm not a tourist. I'm not interested in going and looking at stuff. I live here. I wanted to climb every lighthouse in Victoria."
Yeah.
I said, "I've climbed Cape Otway Lighthouse." He said, "Oh, sorry, don't know what that is."
So are you doing like bum climbing? Like,
No.
just pulling yourself up on the rail?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And it actually put a spanner in the works so bad I didn't even put my videos together that I wanted to do that anymore.
You should be able to do that.
Yeah, well, that's actually one of the things that we're bringing up in the
committee.
The committee.
Yeah.
But there's so much to get to. There
is so much to get to because there's so much that's just exclusive and excluding of people with disability. Like, even though people, Queenscliff has some beautiful old buildings, blah, 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 heritage overlay, there's still ways and means of being able to change buildings to make them accessible so that you could go as an adult on your own into like one of the old pubs and have a beer or, if that was your cup of tea.
It wasn't even just that. Daniel was in kinder down there last year.
Yeah.
And he went for an excursion to the beach. And I was going to climb down the stairs and get to them. But then I thought, no, I'll go and get us a hot chocolate and a snack. And then bring it back to them. He'll love it. And then I go around the corner to the cafe. I was like, oh, they've just got, it's like they had a middle finger up to anyone who was in a wheelchair because everywhere has got a step or multiple stairs and I could get up the stairs, but then what am I going to do?
Yeah, how are you going to get down holding everything?
Yeah, I'm going to have to bounce off all the tables and all the people in there. If you're not in that situation, you don't think about it when you're that age and able to do it. There's no reason why they would go, oh, this person has no access to this, but I do, so.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. To find out more about Women with Disabilities Victoria, go to wdv.org.au. What are your goals for the rest of this year?
I'm still...
With the album, you've got that to work on.
I'm working on an album called Good Grief. So it's all the stages of grief that I've gone through with my MS, and I'm writing a song for each one. I've got to finish my nan's documentary. I've been working on it for 4 years. She died, but I filmed her secretly for 2 years before she died.
Yep.
I've got heaps of art projects.
You're writing the album Good Grief, which is around, the stages of grief.
I've got a song for each of those that I'm working on.
I really can't wait to hear this. I think it would be amazing.
Yeah, well, I really wanted this to be an album where people could listen to it and hear their own pain in it as well, because that one of denial, I wrote a song when I was 19 based on everything I was feeling now called Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
And recently I've just added to it and added my voice into it now. So I've got me now and me then, and I've mixed them both together.
Oh, my God, that sounds great.
Yeah.
You rock climb twice a week minimum.
Yep.
In the school holidays, do the kids rock climb more than twice a week?
No.
Or you just all go together?
No, I usually pick which one wants to go.
Oh, okay.
So say, who's coming rock climbing tonight? And I'll be doing that when I go to pick them up later, because they don't just rock climb in school holidays.
Oh, no, I know. I mean, I know you're doing it after school, but I just mean all year round.
Oh, yeah, much, all year round. And if they don't want to go one day, then I'll just go on my own.
Oh, yeah, okay.
More climbing time for me.
So did I hear you correctly earlier say you got MS at 19?
Yes.
So what were your telltale signs besides it was hand stuff first, wasn't it?
No, it was my eyes first. I thought I was getting a migraine.
Yep.
So I had an aura.
Yeah.
So I reached for my migraine medicine. I never got the headache. I just I didn't know what was going on. So because the doctor sent me to an optometrist, he sent me to an eye specialist, he sent me to another eye specialist, he sent me to an eye specialist at the hospital, who sent me to the neurologist, who then sent me for 3 MRIs, and then he went on holidays and said if you get anything different, then to go into the hospital in emergency and they will be able to sort you out. And I did that, and the woman, she wasn't even facing me. She was facing her desk and typing something down. She was really abrupt. She just said, "Oh, we think it's MS."
Yeah, great delivery.
After 9 months, I was like, really? Sometimes you get really good ones and sometimes you get really bad ones.
That's true.
When it came to my diagnosis, I just had all bad ones except for my GP up at the doctor's in Drysdale.
Yeah.
And maybe one of the eye specialists. He was just an old fella. He wasn't abrupt. He was just so-so.
Yeah. So you got a diagnosis, then what did you do?
Went straight into denial. Well, they put me on medication and just went, I don't need that. I feel fine. And I just had a shot every night. I hated it. I felt like I had those cold flu symptoms that you get with beta-ferron for years. Every now and then I forgot to do it, or I was just trying to be young and I was drunk and was taking it while I was smashed, and it was just when I finally was coming out of that stage and just went, I don't want this because I want to have a family, and I've heard that some people have it and they become sterile.
Yep.
I just went, no, I would rather a family, and I took myself off everything. I just remember being so angry at people who didn't understand my disability, people using disabled toilets, people using disabled car parks who weren't disabled. And then I learned my lesson one day because I didn't even mean to. I was staring at this young fella. He came into a disabled car park and I didn't notice that I was staring, but I noticed he was staring at me right back. And then his carer went to the boot of the car and got out his wheelchair. And I sort of felt like an absolute drop kick at that stage. And I just went, all right, something needs to change. And I just let it all go. I let it all wash off me like water off a duck's back. If someone was in a disabled car park, I didn't care. If someone was in disabled toilets, just say g'day, how you going, all that stuff. And there was this huge, enormous release off my shoulders, off my chest, off my way. I didn't have to worry about it anymore. It was something less that I was stressed about. No, I reckon it's all about positivity and bringing something good to this table of life that nobody else can, or that because we're all put on here for a reason, and we're all like MS, different. There's no two people with the same symptoms at the same time. It's like that with everybody. Nobody's the same person. You can't reproduce the same person. They have similar qualities, they have similar looks, but they're not the same.
No way. And I think that's a lovely way to end today. I have to say thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine.
You can keep up with Bree-Arne's adventures on her YouTube channel at Breeze for Music, and that is spelt BREES, the letter 4, music.